Hi, I'm Mark Darren, designer on Tales of Monkey Island, and you're listening to the audio commentary for Episode 4, The Trial and Execution of Guybrush Threepwood.
I'm Mike Stemley, a designer on Tales of Monkey Island, and I wrote this episode.
I'm Ryan Jones, I'm the concept guy, and I drew stuff for this episode.
I'm Nick Herman, I'm a cinematic artist for this episode, and I make cutscenes.
I'm Eric Parsons, cinematic artist.
And this is Dave Grossman, design director for the studio, which means I don't really do much of anything.
So, interesting story about this whole opening scene here. Sean Vanneman and I kind of did a little double teaming on the writing of this, and there were conflicting director's notes on the opening cutscene. Sean had written in, Guybrush and Morgan have a long row into the island. And because I was looking to save money, I had written in, we cut directly to the dock. And Nick, when he did the choreography for this, correctly decided to go with the long row in, which made it nice and moody and set the tone for the entire episode.
I might have gone against the director's decision, but I was having faith in myself, and hopefully, luckily it worked out, I think.
As soon as I saw it, I got angry for about 2 seconds and then said, oh, wait, this is much better now. So we went with it.
I also remember us having a big discussion about this scene and somebody using the phrase, start on the money, which I thought was a really good idea, just to focus right on that bag of money that she gets at the beginning and kind of set up the whole thing.
It's a mystic voodoo summons that makes a lot of weird noises.
This is a hard scene because there's a lot of stuff we had to set up,
Yeah.
including those weird summonsy objects.
And there was a lot of discussion about how we were going to get Elaine into the courthouse, and I think that's where the whole idea of the voodoo summons came from, so that she would just have to do it. Because if she was all crazy, why would she follow it? Why would she do it just because it was given to her? But if it's voodoo, then it's okay.
Can't argue with voodoo.
Judge Wallace P. Grindstump, one of many characters in the Monkey Island game that are named after former LucasArts employees.
Oh, Stan's jacket. Boy, we did not know whether this jacket was going to work until like days before the thing came out.
It was
Sweating it.
It was
Every
the
day
first.
we were coming around saying, is that jacket ready yet? We got to see the jacket.
Pretty sure it was the first thing on the list of things to do, and the absolute last major feature to come in.
It was literally the first bug I wrote up for the database, is we have to have Stan's jacket.
And everyone promptly ignored you for 5 weeks.
Yes. It's funny, too, because afterwards I was watching a bunch of different reviews, and you can tell who were fans of the original Monkey series, because a lot of people wrote this up, or in the review said there was a bug on my version of the game where this jacket was weird things.
There was,
We worked so hard to put that bug in.
good attention to detail on it too. I remember Kevin walking by my desk and pointedly asking me, when Stan walks across the room, is the pattern supposed to move with him or not? Because we could do either way. And look, there it goes.
Stan was also inspired by my dad. He just looks like a clean-shaven version of my dad.
I love the voice we got for Stan. He sounds a lot like Phil Hartman, which is kind of where we were going with.
Is that Kevin Hammond?
I don't even remember saying exsanguinate. No, I'm not questioning your professionalism. It's just that I don't even know.
Dan and Kevin in the background and the pictures on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Is that really what that is?
Founder.
Drawing quartering to drawing thirding. Fraud.
I was really not sure this was going to work. I remember reading the script for this bit, and it was really funny, but I was just trying to figure out how we were going to do it visually. But it was great. We did it. It was one of the playtest favorites.
Well, why did you put the wig in there, Mike? I never really understood the wig.
The wig of foppery,
That's the one.
just to make fun of our contest winner. Since the case was all based around a contest we held to what evil thing did Guybrush do to you, so we decided to give him a silly wig when his case got tossed.
I put it to you.
I know you
that it
originally
was
wanted the
not your
cat
humble
completely
defendant who
wrapped up in
traumatized
casts.
Guybrush for the unfortunate
Well, yeah, we decided we couldn't have a moving
right.
cat, so it was a question of how he wouldn't be moving.
Shock the monkey.
Objection. There's no evidence.
You
of
did a pretty good job
monkey
of
play
covering the
No?
all the kinds of things that you would want to do in a courthouse setting as Guybrush, because you get to not only do you get to like object to things and call witnesses and stuff, but you tamper with evidence and you bribe a witness and you know, good stuff.
Miss Pretty Whiskers, come back! We'll get our revenge together.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
Mr.
Still want to find myself under those leg lamps in
Considering
real
that my
life.
client and evidence just ran out the door, I guess old Stan's gonna have to drop this one. Good idea.
Your Honor, I'd like to introduce this leg lamp into
Hey, there it is.
Catherine Krebs is lying about her so-called
sultry.
nacho sauce burn.
Catherine Krebs, an interesting character.
This lamp may look like my client's, but who knows how they got there?
Would you care to elaborate?
You just stopped.
I don't know if I should. A lot of people think she's actually Captain Kate. She's not Captain Kate. She is her entirely different character, like Ricky Rouse or Ronald Ruck.
Was she ever planned to be Kate?
For about 10 seconds, we thought she might be Captain
Yeah.
Kate, and then we said, no, it's much more interesting if she's not.
After Guybrush knocked that platter of nachos onto my lap, I saw
Kind of one back reference too many.
Yes.
Revenge?
You still don't remember me?
It's like a homage to CSI, that whole
Spent years
case.
languishing in prison for
Yes,
your
we had the
crimes.
whole CSI puzzle with spilling 18 different kinds of caustic fluids on the leg. It was originally a much nastier puzzle before we kind of trimmed it down a bit.
Yeah, if you think it's hard now, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
At one point, wasn't the solution randomly generated?
Though the solution is
Every-
randomly generated because I love I love any puzzle where you can't actually put out a fact for it and tell people exactly what to do.
This trial, to your hat, to the way my beard's itching. I also object to the way that guy's looking at me. And to this hook. And
Threepwood, you will cease your foolish distractions before we come down and cease them for you.
The pox is getting nastier and nastier.
You can tell by the screen shake.
Yes.
Exactly.
that crazy pose. Gotcha.
The eyeball puzzle used to be a lot harder too.
Yeah, I couldn't figure this puzzle out. I think I resorted to asking my girlfriend.
Oh, the eyeless door.
All you have to do to set it is pop it in your eye.
I know
Gross.
it's creeping me out.
Ooh, how do I look? Dangerous.
You
I think you mean
Looks like he has pink eye.
Sure, whatever. Now, about your testimony.
no problem, mi amigo. Just
this whole thing about pirates and missing limbs and organs and various things it treads a line at times.
I was recently arrested.
Trying to get
For
some
instance, right
contact
there.
lenses like that for Halloween, but they were like $50, so forget that.
You can actually get red for the white of your eye?
Yeah.
It was yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was too much for Halloween for me.
Wasn't it in Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, the guy with the...
Yeah.
I did do the pox skin and the Winslow beard though, which I kept for several months after Halloween. The beard, not the skin.
What I do like about a lot of these cases is how a lot of Guybrush's stupid actions in the first episode have come back to haunt him. Faking the porcelain power pirate and getting in that bar fight that you didn't see. It basically messed up a whole bunch of people and cats and things.
It's kind of one of the benefits of working like in the extended form, the episodic model, so that you can refer back to something that happened months ago, and people are like, oh yeah, wow, remember that?
Finds in favor of the defendants. Colby's justice.
What the?
Yay! More sword fighting and piracy. Another.
Ladies' night.
I love all of our sword fighting scenes.
Yes.
All really fun.
Man, I got so much attention at my desk when I was setting this scene up. Heard
No.
everyone walking by and seeing the cat fight. Whoa! Oh, whoa! All right, calm down, everybody.
Pretty epic.
With this understanding on your own.
Club 41 was
My head's ability to
the most fun
understand.
environment to design.
Yeah.
Just loads of junk everywhere.
Tell me, did it hurt?
I love the alligator holding the dartboard. I think that's my favorite bit.
Fire heaven?
No, but this will. Stay away from Guybrush, you sea hog!
And Elaine and Morgan take the longest possible route.
And travel separately.
I don't know if it's going to show it, but Derek's painting of the
safekeeping.
seductive
Oh yes, the
merfolk.
merfolk
odalisque pose,
Yeah,
mer leader.
really disturbing.
Yeah, take a look at that next time you play the game.
Ah, gimme.
I don't know how you can miss it.
I try to block it out actually.
Don't ask me. Ask your crazy one. I'm gonna run you through, you high seas hussy.
Elaine, you should know that Morgan and I.
I got
spent a few
Kate's
nights
over there
inside of a-
playing Mumbledy Peg.
Yes.
Catherine.
You're a dog, Guybrush.
I like Mind Stump in the back.
His chin.
Good for nothing.
He's a little bit scared, but he's just chilling, mostly watching.
Protecting his bottles.
Honey, you are formally summoned to appear before the court of Judge Grindstump in the case of the people of Flotsam
Oh,
versus
poor baby
Guybrush
manatee
Threepwood.
head.
Mighty
Yeah.
Pirate. TM.
And
I really
the
like all of
Yeah,
Did they actually name him?
In the
Is
relationship.
she named Trixie?
I think so.
Okay.
Or I'll hang you.
you also have the screaming narwhal up there.
All of Vanneman's dialogue in this scene is great. The keep your hands away from my
She's a cat.
husband's pants is a great line.
I told you I had a job to do.
Sure, just doing your job. Tell me, aside from all the silver, how are the benefits?
Guybrush.
Do you get health care for the repetitive stress injuries caused by all the backstabbing
This is
and
a good
cutting off
scene,
people's hands?
Guybrush
Does that
is...
Sean as well?
Sorry.
We really wanted Guybrush's sort of last words to Morgan to be words of annoyance and anger to increase the insane poignancy of what's to come.
Spoilers.
Mrs.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Sweet, some idea of what a fine
Ah, here comes some fan service. As Elaine recounts the entire history of her relationship with Guybrush.
After shanghaiing a crew to take him to Monkey Island, he totally failed to rescue me from the evil clutches of the ghost pirate LeChuck.
One wonders why she stays with him, given the truth behind all this stuff.
May have been a bad line of questioning.
It's all filtered through the pox.
This one went looking for the treasure of Big Whoop. I didn't hear from him for 3 years after that. Turned me into a statue. Left the seat up. Oh, and that's not even mentioning
The
all
left the
time
seat
my
up
brother
joke.
was
It's evergreen.
How often do we use that? Yeah.
delivering idiocy.
It's really fundamentally at the disparity between the sexes right there. That is the wall between us all.
Buccaneers of Flotsam. You all believe that I,
And now comes what we call a huge chunk of cheese dialogue, which, thank God we had Dennis come
Yes.
in to make this scene actually much better than it had any right being, because it's really just a bunch of guys talking.
That's true.
It is actually the longest cutscene in the entire season.
Yeah, I had to sit next to Dennis while I did all this, and it wasn't fun for anyone. It was just how do we make this look interesting? There's a lot of camera cuts, a lot of awesome acting. So
Yes.
Unfortunately, the voice goes in pretty early, and the animations and the camera work and stuff like that go in pretty late. So there was a long period of time where if you were playing the game, you saw the scene, and it was just static.
sugar cakes?
This is a long scene.
But yeah,
It's like a third over.
It's the turn from the end of the second act to the beginning, or the end of the first act to the beginning of the second act, and it's just like big long cutscene at the end of it, and then a big long cutscene at the beginning of the next one. But
Yeah, this wasn't even the worst part. We're not even to the worst part yet.
yeah, this is actually the cool part.
well, and the thing is, like, I think this might have been Dennis's only cutscene in Monkey that he's ever done, or at least his first.
Yeah, his first. I
So
think
so he was working completely blind in a new project, and I think he did a pretty damn good job.
Oh yeah,
My name is LeChuck, and I can tell you exactly what Guybrush did.
this is one of these things. Early on, we knew this had to be the ultimate hero turn for LeChuck. In order for anything that's to come to work, LeChuck had to be believable right at that moment as the guy who's saving Guybrush.
Killed for
And
I can attest to all of this.
I think it's a good testament to the cutscene and the acting. That it actually kind of works. People believe it.
Yeah, it was basically what we were imagining was that you, as the player, would be right along with Guybrush in not really believing that LeChuck had turned good for a long, long time, and that this would be the spot where you would question yourself and really think, well, geez, maybe he really is a good guy. Just saved me.
Or lack thereof.
With your head!
But wait, there's more. It turns out I had an unknown.
But wait, there's a whole lot more.
Corridors. A power far more insidious
Should
than
we start
I could
pointing the
ever
finger
hope
at the
to be.
voodoo lady?
I
Yes.
submit to the court. This journal.
Changing the way
This journal, which we're not going to show you, but which actually has lots of pages of the voodoo lady explaining her plot.
Trust us. It's in there.
What the what?
In these pages, you will find detailed plans laid out by the voodoo lady over the course.
Quick, read it, read it.
I really love his pronunciation of voodoo lady.
My seemingly endless cycle of ironically comical death and disturbing resurrection. My obsession with the darling Elaine. It's all because
I remember Dennis going through a few different revisions of how Elaine reacts to that line.
Yeah.
About how into it she is, or how she blows him off.
I've always been amused how when LeChuck changed from demon to human, his hat and belt buckle became happy.
Yeah, happy. Yeah.
I've had it up to me eye patch with all this land-loving lollygagging. I'm off to plunder me some treasure.
That's Elaine basically speaking for the player at this point. Because I've had it.
my friend, go cure your wife.
Look at all those little candle flames. How cool they are.
There's a lot of emotional charge in this episode, and this really was the one that I wanted all along, to have all the dynamics of the characters just come to a peak at their emotional levels. Especially
There
here.
we go. Nick Herman at his finest.
And where we discover that a monkey has
Monkey
killed
killed
more. I'm surprised more people online didn't
Didn't
think that
Yeah.
that Jacques had killed Morgan.
You didn't have to do that.
For me, this was the most important scene in the entire
I
series.
pay you back for all the trouble.
From the day one when we
The
were first
original-
playing
Yeah,
it.
fortunately we knew that all along, so
Yeah.
that we could lay a lot of groundwork to
The
make it
original
work in the
cut
other
had a lot of,
episodes.
entrails and like
Oh, yeah.
blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the original cut, the
When she
actual
coughed,
one,
it was pink mist.
when I first saw it and it wasn't done, I panicked. I said, oh no, I'm not getting any emotion out of this. And I drew up all these storyboards with this long death march, and it was really way over the top, and everybody kind of calmed me down and said, relax, we got it, we're going to make it good. And they did. It was great.
I love that sound. I think I added it in myself because it wasn't there.
The scene is actually one of the reasons why I really like the previous episode.
Yeah,
We set it up good.
we set it up. And
Also, this is my favorite right here. Cue music.
yes.
Ah, the best.
The director's notes has Guybrush utters this line angrier than anything ever. And then amazingly, he does a whole bunch of puzzles and ends up here, including
Cool down a little bit.
yeah,
I'll show you who's done for.
including a really cool map folding puzzle. We had to work on getting this puzzle. Designing this puzzle took like 2 weeks to come up with things that made use of everything that we had done in the rest of the episode. So we ended up with moths eating a turban.
I wasn't
Pretty
convinced the
elaborate
hand hat was going to
pretty
work.
bizarre.
Without my hand to supply him with more jus de vie, all those wounds you're gonna be starting to catch up with him.
Seeing Bald descend makes it all worth it.
Yes. Bald is almost always funny. I've got about 3 characters in Sam and Max who are going to make Bald.
Including Sam.
Wait. Oh! I think that's our,
Fargo.
what's, no, that was, the
Oh, the
Wilhelm
Wilhelm?
scream?
Wilhelm, yeah.
Wilhelm scream.
This never really too much to ask. At least I've got the sponge back.
Is that the first Wilhelm in a Telltale game?
I don't think so.
Couldn't possibly be.
I'd hope not, but I couldn't
Guybrush
place it.
got much better at
Swish.
throwing by this point.
He practiced while he was in the Manatee.
Yeah.
That was a little anticlimactic. Whoa! Now that's It's an esponja grande. But how will I use it to cure...
Here's a little thing you may notice about my writing. I'm a way too big a fan of interrupting lines with actions. It drives our choreographers batty.
Probably not
Jake
as much
Rocket.
as interrupting lines with other lines, though.
Yeah.
I picked up on your love of alliteration and tried to incorporate that as much as I could.
It's a crutch.
It's a style.
Guybrush?
Elaine, are you all right?
I think so. But
And we're
how
all like
did I
totally
get
wrapped up
here
in watching the scene and can't even speak.
Oh yeah, commentary.
Her mouth tastes like coleslaw because LeChuck loves coleslaw. That's a little-known monkey fact.
Everybody's happy.
LeChuck has the exact same key he had from the second episode. We were so happy when he realized he had one of those.
The guard was more than happy to
You're
release
welcome,
me once
Mike.
I convinced him that it was the only way to win Elaine's hand in unholy matrimony.
What?
I know
I mean, that
what?
wasn't planned from the beginning.
Unholy this.
When we did the first episode, we thought I would never guess that Unholy This was going to get called back.
Over and over.
And
It was done brilliantly.
Jolly good fun.
Is that you?
So I got to do Morgan's death and Guybrush's death in this
Yeah.
episode, and
Knew it all along.
yeah,
Way to keep killing off our characters, man.
yeah.
They spent a lot of time in HR.
I believe it's scum who's about to plunder the grandest
You're good at the
treasure in
murder.
all creation. But I'd be willing to share my booty if you catch me drift.
again, in the I'm Not Proud department, a booty joke during Guybrush's death. Yeah.
Biggest emotional moment.
I like Guybrush watching.
Glances.
Yeah, Guybrush.
Develop
Yeah, LeChuck is really rubbing it in.
pride, and together
That's-
we'll lay a bloody siege to the very heart of voodoo itself.
Go to hell,
You originally had a much more overt joke of some
Can't
sort
say
in
I
there
hadn't
that
tried.
we took out.
Looks like
Probably.
we'll be doing this with all that voodoo.
I love this shot.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was definitely Greg Killian. This
Yeah.
is-
It was originally called for to be a much longer Guybrush view, but
Elaine?
Greg kind of smartly trimmed it.
Ah, that be the stuff.
anything.
Kick his two-faced...
One thing I also like about this is the whole LeChuck transforming
Monkey and all
is
the
like
lions
totally
and
background and
all the
inconsequential compared to what's going on here.
Aren't you dead yet?
That melee to monkey line is probably my favorite Elaine line in the whole series.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that delivery. Also,
Great
Earl-
read.
Earl Bowen.
Bowen.
Earl Bowen, everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody went, "Ah!"
Out of respect for the newly deceased, I feel I should point out that you waved your sword.
He looks so weird after seeing him for like most of the season as a good guy.
Yeah.
You fight like a pox-infected undead cow.
Nice cut.
How does it end? I have to know.
So you play as Elaine in the next chapter.
Yeah, so yeah, we were briefly talking about the possibility of like just really messing with the audience after this one and saying, well, yeah, Guybrush not tested that well, and people really like Morgan, and so
So we killed both of them.
Time for the series to move on.
yeah, it's time for the Guybrush babies from now on, and all that stuff, but we realized we probably couldn't get away with that. But yeah, with the people received this episode very nicely.
Randy couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah.
He has a life or something.
Nah. What's that?
Video games.
We didn't get to play as the hand in this episode either.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the other thing is we did we intentionally had the pox-infested hand crawl off into the jungle because we didn't want to see it when the pox was cured for various and sundry reasons that will become apparent later.
I think we need to do a spin-off series with that.
With the hand.
Just the hand, yeah. You play as the
People
hand.
talked about it at length. They really wanted, the hand and Miss Pretty Whiskers together, solving fighting crime, and so,
We did try really hard to get some puzzles in there where you actually control the hand, but they never really fit the story that we were telling.
Yeah.
I think we can get
So we'll spin it
the
off.
Hand and Pretty Whiskers to fight against our arch nemesis Murray and Treasure Crab.
Yes.
Yeah. And they'll
The
just-
season is writing itself.
Yeah. That's, this episode also marked the first time I think you ever see the Voodoo Lady outside of her shack in any Monkey Island game.
Breaking new ground.
Yeah, it's very
All
strange. It was very strange to actually put her in jail, and luckily we didn't have to make her walk.
But this was the first time we saw her stand, right? Standing?
I don't know because she's in the jail, so
She's
we
actually
don't.
sitting
I
on
think
a
she's
stool.
actually sitting in the jail. We don't actually have any. Yeah,
There's no proof.
This episode also did initially ship with a very amusing bug that if you did something incorrectly, you could actually get Guybrush stuck in jail forever. So, yeah, we got that fixed pretty quickly, but that was...
And wasn't this the episode that you wanted to have the end credits just having, I think it was Hemlock McGee singing a cappella during the entirety of the end
yeah,
credits?
I wanted Hemlock McGee to be singing Ladies' Night a cappella.
So now, that says Desinger for a day. Was that a deliberate misspelling or not?
Either way, it's funny.
Let's say it's deliberate.
Jokes.
Yeah, we do everything on
Hilarious.
purpose.
Yeah, hilarious.
We don't usually put much of the content of our games in the hands of the audience, but we did do that this time. We ran a contest, and people submitted lines to be used in the trial scene.
Yeah, and
those
we
were the
ended up
winners.
selecting the He Ruined My Perfectly Good Ex because we figured we could probably dismiss that case with just about 2 lines of dialogue, and it would be the easiest thing for us to do rather than making a huge art-intensive puzzle out of it. In hindsight, I realized after we had done the gag with the broken X marks the spot thing that we really should have had like his wife, his broken ex-wife or girlfriend there, which would be much funnier and grimmer, and not what people were expecting. We probably wouldn't have translated as well.
My perfectly good ex.
Still,
perfectly good
hindsight.
ex. Yes.
Speaking of X, who's ex Adam?
That is my brother.
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out.
Sweet.
Booyah.
How do you pronounce that?
Adam.
Uh-huh.
It's a silent X.
Silent X. Brendan.
Our favorite telltale
And
pet.
yet another monkey baby added.
Lots of babies were made during this
Yes.
production, as it should be.
That's about the I think about the 6th or 7th as of the 4th episode. So yes.
We make them almost as fast as we make the game.
All right,
All
we're
right,
gonna wrap it
wrap
up
it
now.
up now.
Take it easy.